All right, everybody, in our first story today, the Constitution DAO has raised over $46 million to buy one of the 13 copies of the Constitution that are still remaining, of course, the United States Constitution. And early reports are that the Constitution DAO won the bidding. It was actually quite thrilling. Sotheby's hosted an auction, quote, of one of just 13 copies of the official edition of the Constitution surviving from a printing of 500 issued for submission to the Continental Congress and for use of the delegates to the Constitutional Convention. They did make a note at the beginning of the auction that there were 2 or 3 more copies that they, I guess, did not originally know. So the denominator of the number of copies of this is obviously important in terms of the value of it. If there were more of them, if there were 200 of these, they obviously wouldn't be as scarce, and so they probably wouldn't go for as much. I got to know who was on the other side of this because they were going back and forth between 2 different bidders. One of the bidders was named Brooke. Apparently she won, so she was representing the Constitution DAO. She was kind of funny. She was kind of laughing a little bit or having fun with it. And then I guess the other one was David. And he seemed a little bit more stiff upper lip and a little boring and dry with his additional bids. But very quickly, Brooke came over the top and just said 30 million. So this thing started and they were going 20 million, 21 million. All of a sudden, boom, Brooke says 30 million. So that was kind of the tell during this very exciting auction. I got very excited about it. Auctions are cool. That they had come over the top. And that means either it's like a Saudi prince or something. That was like one of the early reports that they might have been competing against the Saudi prince for this, which would be kind of ironic or paradoxical for a Saudi prince to buy the Constitution to put in Saudi Arabia in a museum there. That would be quite a... Yeah, I think paradoxical would be the proper descriptor of that turn of events. So if you don't know what a DAO is, let's explain what that is. It means a decentralized autonomous organization. It means a group of people acting together. And in this new definition, it's a group of people who donated a bunch of crypto, in this case, Ethereum. And the concept behind the DAO is that and DAOs are kind of like saying corporations. You can do a lot of different things with them. It's kind of like saying paper. You can do a lot of different things with them. And DAOs mean a lot of different things to different people. But essentially, it means the people put the money in, get a vote, typically commensurate with the amount of money they put in. And then when it comes to issues of governance, they would vote on what would happen. And they would have ownership. However, this DAO was not based on ownership. When you put money into it, you would be not putting money in order to see the Constitution increase in value. In other words, if this goes from 41 million to 400 million, you're not going to 10x your money. You don't actually own it. And this was pitched as own the Constitution. We're buying the Constitution. So I think this auction, it sounds crazy, but there's a chance this could be reversed or there could be a problem here because this probably broke securities law. And I think the SEC will look into this. I know this sounds crazy and you can think I'm a crypto hater. I love DAOs. I think they're very awesome and very interesting new format. However, to the best of my knowledge, this was not done with accredited investors. In other words, people who are allowed to invest in these things. I don't think there was any KYC involved in this, know your customer. And if that's the case, and they were pitching this and doing general solicitation, in order to do this legally here in the United States, which is why a lot of crypto projects do not accept American investors, because we have rules here about capital formation, which I'm pretty familiar with. They would have had to do it like Republic or Seed Invest or equity crowdfunding sites do, which is they would limit the amount of money you could put in. There's a holding period of 30 days. You can change your mind. You have to file a bunch of accounting rules. What's great about a DAO is they can be set up instantly, like we saw with this Constitution DAO. I mean, it came together very quickly because all you're doing is throwing money from your wallet into another one, paying some gas fees, and you're done. Well, that is going to be the crux of this issue, because if Americans put this in here and they thought they were owning the Constitution, which is what they said in all the marketing, we're going to buy it, which means we're going to own it, yada, yada. And I was going back and forth with some people on Twitter who were saying, hey, we're buying it. Hey, we own it. And I was like, are you sure you own it? Yeah.
They lost.
Okay, we got breaking live news. It looks like the Constitution DAO lost. Community, we did not win the bid for the copy of the U.S. Constitution. While this wasn't the outcome we hoped for, we still made history tonight with the Constitution DAO. This is the largest crowd fund for a physical object that we are aware of, crypto or fiat. We are so incredibly grateful to have done this together with you all and are still in shock that we even got this far. Sotheby's has never worked with a DAO community before. We broke records for the most money crowdfunded in less than 72 hours. That's the most amazing thing about this. We've educated an entire cohort of people around the world, from museum curators to art directors to our grandmothers, asking us what ETH is when they read about us in the news, about the possibilities of Web3. And on the flip, this is really written poorly. And on the flip side, many of you have learned about what it means to steward an asset like the U.S. Constitution across museums and collections, or watched an art auction for the first time. We had 17,437 donors with a median donation size of $206. Wow, that's like some Bernie Sanders strategy there, really small donations. A significant percentage of these donations came from wallets that were initialized for the first time. In other words, people specifically bought crypto to do this, which is really cool. You will be able to get a refund of your pro rata amount, effectively minus gas fees, through Juicebox. Please expect more details about this tomorrow. Our team has not slept for the past week, and we're giving people the night to get some rest before we're back at it tomorrow a.m. Each one of you were a part of this. We want to also thank our partners in this work: Alameda Research, Endowment, FTX US, Juicebox, Morning Brew, and Syndicate DAO. So these are really interesting times. Back to the legality of this. The legality of this is pretty clear. If you're going to do something like this, you need to have accredited investors only. If you do accredited investors, there are limitations on that. My understanding is 250 people, up to 10 million, or 99. You can go above it. In other words, like a venture fund. And if you were to do this the way they wanted to do it, they were saying you have governance, you can vote, but you don't own it, but we're buying it and you're owning it. So the messaging was not clear, but that's great, because since they didn't win it, this doesn't have to be reversed. There doesn't need to be an SEC investigation into this if they broke securities law, because everybody's going to just get their money back, minus gas fees. And the gas fees are probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 15% I saw when people were doing these, because Ethereum, I guess, is very busy and time on the blockchain costs money. I mean, I don't know why Ethereum is so expensive still. I think that's why Solana is doing so well. But Ethereum does have a plan to make things much cheaper. So continuing on here, what an amazing moment in time to see this many people come together. And I think in order to contextualize this, what I've been thinking about is, what else can we do? Because if you can put $40 million together, this quickly, what is the possibility if instead of 17,000, 17 million people got involved? Well, there could be 1,000x, what we just saw. We could see $1 billion show up for a cause. And if that seems crazy to you, just remember, this all reminds me of Live Aid. And Live Aid raised $127 million. We had this incredible concert. All of this money was raised to feed Africa and to help people starving in Africa. If something trends like this through social media, and you really can just move money freely without having to worry about governments getting involved and regulations, we could see crazy things happen. Now, we could also see crazy amounts of fraud. Who knows? People could abscond with the money. But maybe people should be able to do what they want with their own money, is something I've always said, so I don't want to be hypocritical here. If the donation size was 200 and somebody committed a crime here, then you have the legal system to come after them. Okay, SOC 2 compliance is critically important. Why? If you don't have SOC 2 tight, you're going to lose major customers. You just can't close them. It's that simple. And guess what? Vanta, V-A-N-T-A, is going to give you $1,000 off your SOC 2 compliance. Vanta's compliance software makes it easy to get and to renew your SOC 2. They continually test against technical and non-technical SOC 2 requirements. They partner with over 24 audit firms who have been trained to file SOC 2 reports directly within Vanta. And on average, Vanta customers are SOC 2 compliant in just 2 to 4 weeks, compared to 3 to 5 months without Vanta. Take it from Kitty Hawk CEO John Hegrains. He heard me read Vanta's ad and emailed me about how much he loves Vanta. I'm kidding you not. John told me that Vanta was essential in helping Kitty Hawk get SOC 2 compliant so they could target larger customers. If you haven't heard of SOC 2, you will when you get to those big customers. So unlock the big sales and give your employees time to work on more business-critical assignments, like your product, like sales. Vanta's giving Twist listeners a $1,000 discount on their subscription at vanta.com/twist. Once again, vanta.com/twist for $1,000 off. VANTA.com/twist.